Hi, welcome to Parkinson's Daily Exercise with Danica. Today we are going to use the foam roller to do a little myofascial release on the front of the thighs and the outer hips. So these muscles tend to get really tight when we're sitting too much, or actually when we're really active too. These muscles can get really tight around the thigh and IT band, can cause a lot of pain in the hips or knees, also can affect function. So if we have really tight fascia around our muscle, it can kind of cut off blood flow and circulation and just make our muscles a little less functional. So using a foam roller can be really helpful. If you cannot get up and down off of the floor, it's nice to roll out the thighs in a seated position using a rolling pin. So if you are tired of making pies, then you can use your rolling pin on your thighs and get through the outer hip and just go the full length of the muscle. So this can be done seated. I like using the floor. If you can get up and down on the floor, this is actually good for the core and upper body as well. So you get kind of a little workout in there while you're releasing the muscles around the hips. So let's go ahead and get started. Lying on the thighs. So we're going to bring the foam roller just above the knees and then pull the body forward. So we're just to the knees. We don't want to roll over that joint at all. And then we want to go back to just about the hip. So roll the whole length of that thigh muscle in front to the knee, just above the knee and just below the hip. So we want to stay on the soft tissue and not on the joints. We want to use that core and we want to use those arm muscles and just try to keep the neck as relaxed as possible. Maybe turning the toes out as we do that and the heels are together. We feel the roller hit a little bit more on the inside of those thighs. And then as we maybe turn the toes in, we feel that movement down the front of the thighs a little bit more and maybe more to the lateral quadricep. We'll get the lateral thighs on the next exercise, but we really just want to get the full length of that muscle, maybe turning the toes out, and then on the way back, turning those toes in, turning those toes out, and turning those toes in from here. Maybe if we find some knots, we want to bend and straighten those knees on the knot, adding a little roll over as we straighten and bend. So just kind of play around with it a little bit and see what feels good for those muscles. It may be challenging at first, just get a couple of them in and then work to progressing a little bit more repetitions every time. So now we get onto our side, we bring that foam roller on the lower bottom leg. We want to bend the top leg and the foot is flat. That's our stability. We want to roll it forward just to the top of the knee and then rolling back. So we want to avoid the joints and stay in the soft tissue. This can be extremely painful if you've never done this before. I promise it gets easier the more often you do it. So try to get down on the floor and do this as frequently as possible, maybe daily, at least a few times a week. So rubbing out this IT band will feel really good. Find those knots, get in there, and may alleviate any pain, some pain in the knees or hips as well. Tight IT bands can cause a lot of pain in those hips and knees. Find those knots, mine are right here, and then roll it out. And we can adjust a little bit more. Again, this may be really challenging if you're doing this for the first time. It may hurt, it may be hard to hold yourself up, but keep practicing. Just try one a day and then try for a few more repetitions. Let's go ahead and roll back to the thighs and roll it out a few times here. Just to sort of redistribute and balance out that weight before we move on to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and turn around just so you can see me, but you can just roll over to the other side or change position. So if you need a little bit of extra time getting over onto that side, go ahead and pause it and then get back to it. So the bottom leg is straight, top leg is bent, and we want to roll just above the knee and just below the hip. So getting that full range of motion. Core is strong. Be mindful of the neck, but it's not doing all the work. We want strong arms, strong core as we move that fascia away from those muscles. Really feel that stretch. Top of the knee to bottom of the hip. Stretch it out, keeping that core strong. Again, don't give up. If you can only do one today, try again tomorrow and see if you can get two in. So it gets a little bit easier every day, I promise. Keep breathing. Maybe finding a knot and bending and straightening. Play around with that, what feels good. We'll do one more. And then back to those thighs again, we'll roll it out. Just a few times here. And then back to center. After we roll all those muscles out, we'll take it into just a child's pose and stretch everything out. Couple deep breaths here. And then we'll come up slowly. And inhale up and exhale out. So hopefully those legs feel a little bit more functional now, a little bit lighter, not so heavy. So practicing with the foam roller, I promise it gets easier and less painful the more often you practice. So thank you for joining Parkinson's Daily Exercise with Danica, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.